We have identified the Federation prisoner you've been chasing. His name is Franklin Drake. Some of our sources say he's a Starfleet intelligence agent, but there are hints that he's much more. From what I can tell, he's not part of the normal chain of command. Previously, we didn't have any images or genetic samples from him, which is why he was so hard to identify. Now, we'll be on him the second he shows his face again. We already have a lead for you to follow. Records indicate a Klingon shuttle entered space above the Rura Penthe penal colony. That system is restricted, and there was no traffic scheduled for today. You are authorized by the High Council to approach the system and determine if Drake is there. Bring him back alive, if you can.
This is Warden Katak of the Rura Penthe penal colony. You do not have authorization to land. Turn back now. Any attempt to violate our security perimeter will be met with force.
Our authorization comes from Chancellor Jimpak himself. It is unwise to stand in the way of his representatives. Unless, of course, you'd like to become a resident of your own prison.
My apologies, Kalekanes. I am honored to meet you. What do representatives of the High Council seek at Rura Penthe? There are no Federation corps on Rura Penthe. Are you aware enemies of the Empire should be killed, not fed and coddled like infants?
It appears the spy is as good at getting into prisons as he is at escaping them. Check your sensor logs, Warden. He is here, somewhere.
Our security logs are checked every quarter hour as per regulations. There have been no transfers in or out of the colony within the last day. Only 2 ships have entered the system today. Yours and a Klingon shuttle. The shuttle left the system hours ago. You are still here.
Your arrogance is tiresome, Warden. Produce your sensor logs at once.
Our logs clearly indicate the shuttle left the system hours ago. There have been no transfers. All prisoners in this colony are either accounted for or dead. Your trail has gone cold.
Ready to beam down on your command, Captain. There is a magnetic field covering the entire penal colony to prevent prisoners from escaping via transporter. We'll have to beam down to the outskirts of the magnetic field and walk to the entrance.
Where do you think you are going? You may have crossed the magnetic shield, but your visit is unannounced, and you will follow protocol. No one simply wanders around this prison. I will escort you to the warden. You will follow me. Warden, the visitors are here.
I can see them, Rogas!
Your presence here is unnecessary. The only Federation citizens on Rurapente are frozen into the ice. But don't let me dissuade you from your manhunt. My guards will stay where they are. If there was a breach, it would have tripped the alarms. Our security system is quite advanced. This is a prison, after all. But please, examine the security system for yourself. If you refuse to accept the word of the prison's warden, that is. You dare to question the honor of a warrior of the House of Torg? You may be representatives of Dempak, but you'll taste my blade if you insult me again. Go, see for yourselves. You'll only find the Patak dumped here to rot.
Follow me to the general holding area. Take one of the jackal mastiffs with you to sniff out treachery.
Interrogate the prisoners, Captain. One of them may have spotted the fugitive.
There is a priority target in the area. Stay alert. Target acquired. Subject is guilty of treason. Termination authorized.
I ain't seen nothing, and I don't learn.
I swear on the Great Bird, I haven't seen any humans here.
We got nothing to talk about.
Are they going to retry my case?
They're good eating. I believe someone is following you, Captain. Turn around.
None of these prisoners will help you. They can sense danger far better than you can. And they know the risks of getting involved in a fight that's not theirs. Because I'm not a Patak like the Warden and his cousin. Have you asked yourself, why would a human come to Rurapente? The human is here to extract a prisoner. There are no other alternatives. If he was coming to kill someone, then he's a Koch. All he needed to do was wait. Everyone sent to this hole dies. Most are dead within a year. you questioning my honor? If you think you're safe because you hold a weapon, you're mistaken. The only thing standing between you and a cold grave is my patience. Someday, I'll teach you a lesson for testing my resolve. The human is here, but it is a complicated situation. You must do exactly as I say. We are surrounded by enemies, and you will need my help to survive. The only crime I've committed was thinking there could be peace between the great houses. And all you need to know is that I am a Klingon warrior with the information you need. Follow me, and I will take you to the one the prisoners call the Worm. The Worm is over by the mine entrance.
There you are. I was wondering if I'd lost you.
Don't try to play coy with us. You have the subterfuge skills of a wounded Tar. Did you think no one here would notice a new prisoner? Or that no one would notice when you tampered with the air exchangers?
I see you found a new friend. Look, if I had the time to explain it, I would. But I'm on a tight schedule, and you took your time getting here. If you want to know what's really going on, you'll have to ask your new friend. I need to be going.
Follow him! He's running for the surface!
Enemy target proven.
Hurry! We have to stop him! The worm has slithered to the surface. We need to stop him before he can reach the edge of the magnetic shield. I promise that I'll explain everything once we track him down. The human is trying to cross the ice. We need to hurry before he gets outside the magnetic shield. In that case, we don't have any time to waste. It will be difficult to track his movements in this flurry. Those were wild jackals. Keep a lookout for more. They travel in packs.
How can they survive on the surface?
They must feed on the corpses of dead prisoners.
Kemtar, you said you would explain why you were thrown into Rura Pente.
I am a diplomat. My peaceful words were called treason.
How can there be peace? We are at war!
You've clearly never read the works of Chancellor Gorkon. Now, let me ask you a question. How can we win a war if we can't stop fighting one another?
Honor must be upheld.
The words of a warrior. Still, killing one another for honor blinds us to greater threats. There he is!
Impressive. Your determination is commendable. There's more at stake here than dealing with a lone human on a mission of mercy. In fact, our intelligence says you have very little time left to act. Our friend here discovered that one of the great houses is plotting against the Empire. He's correct, but his curiosity cost him. Now you and Kemtar, will both have a chance for glory. Kemtar, your father still has friends in the Federation. They believe he's in great danger. I recommend a trip to the Vor system. There you'll find out just how big of a mess you're in, and find the proof that Worf will want.
I don't. He and I have never met. But as I told you, the story is complicated. What you need to know is that he speaks the truth. There is a plot against the Empire. and it is not the Federation's doing. Our true enemies are closer than we realize. If we want to protect our people, we must go to the Vor system and see what is there.
I don't care if you trust me. Kemtar, tell your father that obligations have been met. Only you can decide how you'll deal with the greater threat.
The only threat you should be worried about is me. You're a miserable Karut. Not only have you broken penal colony protocol, but you've meddled in the affairs of House Tor. I don't care if Kemtar is innocent. We were paid a great deal of latinum to keep this piece of Baktak locked up. He's not leaving here, and neither are you.
That's my cue to exit. Good luck.
We must have a ship in orbit. We can expect more beam up as soon as possible and discuss what has happened.
We read you, Captain. What are your orders? We can't get a lock on your position, Captain. You must still be within range of the magnetic field. We will bring the ship down to the surface to pick you up, Captain.
If we head for higher ground, it will be easier for your ship to locate us. Look up ahead! The Warden and the guards are approaching!
You dishonorable dog! When the High Council hears what Jempak's representatives have done here today, they will order your immediate execution!
Enough to keep us warm long after you're dead. We get paid whether Kemtar lives or dies. So before I kill you, I'll offer you the coward's choice of surrender. What am I forgetting, Tosha?
end to a band of dishonorable fools. I trust you're ready to leave this freezing, miserable place, Captain. In many ways, I think Rurapente is worse than Gretor itself.
Drake said we should go to the Vor system. What would we possibly find there? Whatever is there, it is a threat to the Klingon Empire. We must find evidence to show the Council.
Transporter room is standing by, Captain. We're ready to bring you aboard at your command.
Your report on Warden Kratak and the prison riot was disturbing. I have transferred many prisoners to Urapenthe, and this is the first I've heard of corruption. As you know, the Empire does not tolerate fraud or dishonesty. I accept your resolution to the matter, but I am displeased that you did not apprehend Drake. The fact you freed Kimtar also requires scrutiny. If Kimtar were not Ambassador Worf's son, I would demand that you return him to First City at once. However, if you believe there's evidence of further corruption, you have my authorization to pursue this matter discreetly.
Congratulations, Lieutenant Commander.
During my time as ambassador, I uncovered evidence that one of the great houses has been corrupted by a foreign influence and is plotting against the Empire. I was thrown into Urapenthe as punishment for digging too close to the truth. The fugitive Drake suggested that we travel to the Vor system. We hope to find evidence that will prove there is an internal threat to the Empire.
Captain, we've entered the Vor system. There's a starbase in orbit dead ahead. Huh. It's one of ours, but the record's listed as a research facility operated by Uridian scientists.
The Uridians are not known for their scientific prowess, but the research station is listed as a protected asset. According to your ship's computer, the Uridians have a trade agreement with a human scientist named Amar Singh. He is working with someone in the Empire on a genetic research project. It's unclear what Drake expected us to find here.
This is Research Facility Logner Beta 3. I am Plardos Yarden, commander of the station. With whom am I speaking? We weren't informed there would be visitors today. How may we serve the Empire?
Commander Plardos, you will provide this ship's computer access to all recent station communication logs. You will also transmit a manifest of shipments and supply delivery receipts for the last month.
Well, this is unexpected. You do realize that we have an agreement with your government and Dr. Singh. Our research is highly classified. You do have some sort of official order granting permission to view these records? Why are you attacking us? Please, we are not your enemy. You're completely mad. This is a top security installation. You don't have authorization to access our records. We're filing a formal complaint. Of course we're hiding something. We're conducting classified research. That's why you are not authorized to access station records. You do understand the concept of top secret, don't you? This is preposterous. We refuse to hand over top secret information without proper authorization. We will defend ourselves, if necessary.
They've powered up defensive cannons and launched small craft. Sent a distress signal. A ship is responding. Captain, Romulan warbird on sensors. Captain, the Romulans are hailing us.
We received a distress call from this station. We are here to provide assistance. Station Commander Plardos sounded distressed. He mentioned a disagreement with a Klingon vessel. It would be dishonorable of us not to investigate. We appreciate the delicate nature of the situation. Would you mind if we spoke with the station? Perhaps we could resolve any misunderstanding.
I find this very suspicious. Why would Romulans respond to a distress call here?
The Romulans hailed the station on an open frequency, and then immediately switched to an encrypted channel. The Romulan ship hasn't raised shields. What are they up to?
I don't need to remind you that we're in Klingon territory. The fact that these Romulans are here at all could be the clue we need.
Captain, the station has transported several crates of goods to the Romulans.
Commander Plardos has explained the situation. It sounds as if there's been a miscommunication. The foolish bravado of the Klingon Empire. Attacking your own station and then accusing us of wrongdoing. I should have expected something like this. Very well. We'll communicate in terms you can understand.
Interesting. One of the rockets is firing on the other rocket ship could belong to those rebels we've been hearing about.
This is Commander Telek of the Romulan Republic. We are here to cooperate with the Klingon Empire.
Republic is thankful for your assistance. We had tracked the Tal Shiar to this system, but we would have been outmatched without your aid. The Romulan Republic faces many challenges, but conflict with the Klingon Empire should not be one of them. As a gesture of good faith, I'll share with you information that you might find to be of value. We believe Tal Shiar agents are collaborating with operatives in the Klingon Empire to steal weaponry and technology. We have uncovered large supplies of Klingon weapons on the planet Nimbus 3 that we believe are being stockpiled there by agents of the Empress. The stolen goods are being transferred through several facilities in the local sector, including this science station. The shipping manifests on the supply crates and the weapons themselves. By tracking the flow of goods, we've learned that there are agents in the Klingon Empire transferring stolen supplies to the Tal Shiar. Those supplies are being stockpiled on Nimbus 3. If you will help track down the source of those weapons, we will share our data with you. Transferring the data now. We expect the Klingon Empire to track down the source of these stolen goods and punish those responsible before more weapons fall into the wrong hands. If we discover any further information, we will notify the Empire's ambassador on Mol Rihan.
Please listen to me. We were only following protocol. We must ensure that our research doesn't fall into the wrong hands. We didn't know the shipments we were transferring were stolen. I was told that the crates were medical supplies needed on the war front. We didn't ask questions. Please, show mercy. We were only doing what we were ordered to do. Due to present circumstances, we will forego normal security authorization and provide the files you have requested. We live to serve the Empire.
We've received the data that Kemtar requested, Captain. It will take some time to analyze these files and track the source of the shipments. In the meantime, we are prepared to leave the system on your command.
Your officers have analyzed the shipping logs from the research facility. Their findings confirm what the Romulan Republic officer told us. Someone has been routing technology and weapons to the Tal Shiar, and they are going to great lengths to cover their tracks. An operation of this magnitude would require the resources of one of the houses, but the shipments are being routed in such a way to conceal their point of origin. Our evidence is circumstantial. It was my eagerness to point fingers without proof that landed me in Urapenthe in the first place. We must exercise patience and wait for our prey to reveal themselves. My father is Ambassador Worf. He has many friends and many enemies. I tried to convince him that one of the houses was moving in the shadows against us. He either didn't believe me or didn't care. Either way, he made his decision when he refused to act after I was sent to Urapenthe. His pride is a weakness our enemy will try to exploit. You can try, but we must be prepared if he doesn't. We should at least warn him of the danger, even if he refuses to see the knife at his throat.
Perhaps. First, tell me who you are. Greetings. How may I assist you? That is an odd request. We stand in the courtyard of the Great Hall, and honor has no need of secrecy. If you cannot speak your mind in this place, then I have no desire to hear what you have to say. That is not my son's name. If Kemtar wishes to talk, tell him to come and speak to me. I will not communicate through intermediaries. He is the only one in danger, unless you have been foolish enough to listen to his tales. But you have already made that mistake. If you have spoken to him, then you have been to Rura Penthe. I am Gintog to the House of Martok. Lady Sorella has declared vengeance on the House of Jimpok. It would not surprise me if all the great houses wish me dead. Tell my son that I am capable of defending myself. Romulans. That does not make sense. Jimpok's position towards the Federation and the Tal Shiar is very clear. And in this, he has my house's full support. It would be foolish for any house to make such a connection. However, I would not be surprised to hear you mention the House of Duras. And that is exactly the sort of accusation that landed my son in a penal colony. Tell Kemtar that unless he has proof, he should stay silent. If he is a fugitive from Rura Penthe, he will only make his situation worse. I do not want to know any more about what you two are plotting.
Has Worf agreed to speak to us? What name I use is not important. Did you tell him what we've learned? Did you tell him the Romulans are involved? Given their history, I've considered the possibility that the House of Duras might be involved. Is he at least willing to review our evidence? Yacha! He is a stubborn old man and he is going to get himself killed. Agreed. If the Jinn talk to House Martok will not listen, we will take our concerns to the House itself. Martok's son Drex is off-world. I will contact Lady Sorella and arrange a meeting.
These events are very disturbing. They paint a picture of a large conspiracy against prominent houses of the Empire. I will work with my contacts to see what else I can learn. And I will notify you when I have enough leads to further our investigation.
Sorella, Lady of the House of Martok, has requested that you meet her at the House Estate in the Ketha Lowlands. She did not explain why she wanted to see you, but I expect that she has some tasks she would like completed. The House of Martok has lost much prestige since I took the Chancellor's seat. But they still have many allies among the KDF, and I am loath to reject Sorella's request without a good reason. Gaining the favor of the House of Martok could serve you well. But remember, they have many enemies. I harbor no ill towards Sorella, but do not get caught up in her vengeance against me. It would not be in your best interest.
Ah, the estate of House Martok. It has been too long. After Gowron stripped my house of its titles and lands, this place became my home. I will defend it and House Martok to my final breath. Come, Lady Sorella waits for us ahead. Believe me when I say it is unwise to keep her waiting.
Welcome. I will skip the usual pleasantries. We have serious matters to discuss. The House of Martok has many enemies. Some of them seek to curry favor with Jempok, or the House of Duras, by striking at us. Until now, most of these attacks have been little more than a nuisance. But now we know that an enemy may be plotting to assassinate Worf, and my grandson, Maven, may also be a target. The filthy Baktag willing to carry out such dishonorable attacks must be stopped. And so, I ask you to find these assassins and eliminate them.
Any threat to House Martok will be dealt with, my lady. On that, you have my word as a warrior. Where is Maven now?
He is on his way to the Batleth tournament on Forcus 3 with your father. Worf assured me that he would handle security matters during the trip, but that was before you reported your findings to me. Before you go, I have another concern. Our local farmers reported seeing a Romulan here recently. Given Kemtar's suspicions of a house collaborating with the Tal Shiar, it seems to be an odd coincidence. We need to know what the Romulan was doing here before you leave for the tournament.
A Romulan? Here? Once I would have considered that impossible. But we live in strange times. Maybe they have come to their senses and joined with the Empire against the Federation. I haven't seen this Romulan myself, but one of the others might have. You have my leave to speak with the workers. One of them might have seen your pointy-eared interloper about.
Of what interest is a Klingon farm to a Romulan?
The only thing I've paid attention to of late has been the lack of rain. But you're a warrior, not a farmer. You wouldn't be interested in that. Sorry I couldn't help you.
The Togs have been busy tearing up my roots, but other than that, I haven't seen anything unusual.
I remember seeing the Romulan. He said he was a surveyor hired to architect a new irrigation system. He set up equipment on the hill over there. but I haven't seen him lately. It wouldn't surprise me if he's up to no good. You can never trust a Romulan.
This surveyor may be more than he seems. The idea of a Romulan moving alone freely on estate grounds? I do not like where this is going. Let's follow his steps. Doing so could lead to insight on the Romulans' actions. I see the equipment there. It is definitely Romulan tech. That is definitely Romulan gear, but it is not surveying equipment. It is a short-range EM transmitter, not something a surveyor would use, Romulan or otherwise. I have a bad feeling about this. Disable it at once. Well done. We still have a suspicious Romulan on the loose, however. There is a shipping and receiving area nearby, close to a landing pad. I suggest speaking with the workers there. They may have seen our mysterious surveyor recently.
Yes, I remember this man. It's not every day you see a Romulan in the Ketha lowlands. He didn't say he was a surveyor, though. He told me that he was a part of a diplomatic delegation studying our agriculture. Martok would have never let a Romulan set foot on our world. That's why I don't think much of Jimpak. He's too soft. The oddest thing I remember, other than him being a Romulan, was that he personally scheduled the delivery of goods to the farm. That is against our security procedures. Lady Sorella insists on authorizing all deliveries to the manor. However, his codes were valid. He had Lady Sorella's signature, so I did as he asked. His delivery arrived today. It was the large package we moved to the grain storage shed near the house of Martok's manor. Knep would know what was in it. He handles most of Lady Sorella's business transactions.
And now our surveyor is a diplomat. A Tal Shiar spy seems more likely. I processed that delivery. It was an order for the House of Martok. They needed explosives for digging out a new irrigation system. The order was placed by Lady Sorella with her signature and authorization codes. She must need the new irrigation channel badly. Normally, Sorella delays such tasks until the winter, when the farm hands aren't busy with planting and harvesting. This spy is clever. Placing the explosives near the House of Martok's fertilizer stores. If he detonates them, the results will be devastating. I believe that device we found earlier was intended to be a trigger relay. Taking it out will slow the Romulan down, but it may not be enough to foil his plan. We should focus our search near the fertilizer shed. The spy will need a good vantage point to monitor the area before he triggers the detonation. Come, the hunt continues. Use your scanner to search for Romulan life signs. The signal is getting weaker. The signal is getting weaker. The signal is getting stronger. 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 The signal is getting stronger! The signal is getting stronger! The signal is getting stronger! There, by the ship! What is that Romulan doing?
The House of Martok will crumble, and with it, the rest of the Klingon Empire. You cannot stop what has begun.
Treacherous Vorshak! It's an ambush!
Enemy target on center.
They're finished. Deal with that bomb before it kills us all. This ship, it is the Rotaran, the flagship of House Martok. That Romulan wanted to blow up more than fertilizer. It would have been a fatal blow, both to the House and its honor. Huicha! One thing is clear. Whoever is behind this plot has no honor. Not even a Fekiri would join forces with the Tal Shiar. It is madness! We must continue the hunt, my friend. The Romulan still draws breath, and as long as he lives, our troubles will multiply. A piece of Baktok probably beamed up to a cloaked vessel in orbit. Let us return to your ship and see if we can find it. Ever since Jempok recognized the government on New Romulus, the number of Romulan ships in orbit over Kronos has increased. Most of them have legitimate reasons for being here. As a diplomat, I realize that harassing such a ship could lead to an incident. That's trouble we do not need. Very well. I am willing to continue, as long as you understand that discovering the vessel that holds our quarry will be difficult. There's a lot of warp and impulse traffic in the area. It's too much for the scanners to handle, especially if we're dealing with a cloaked ship. That's assuming the ship is still in the system. They may have gone to warp as soon as the spy stepped off the transporter pad. Ah, your intuition served us well, my friend. Scanners are detecting trace singularity distortions from the nearby asteroids. I believe a cloaked Romulan warbird recently entered warp there. If we get a closer scan, I will be able to plot a course based on the warp trail signature.
I'm being pursued by annoying Klingon insects. What are they called? Long flies. As much as I would love to dance, I have a pressing appointment elsewhere. So let's change heart.
Let's see if we can follow the warp trail of the Romulan leader. Scanning. Ah, there it is. Warp trail detected. Sensor analysis indicates that the Romulan is headed for the Forcus system. Agreed. I believe Lady Sorella's suspicions were correct. The Romulans mean to kill Maven and anyone that gets in their way. Like my father. Both Maven and my father are formidable warriors, but even they can be overwhelmed by numbers and treachery. I must go to Forcus to warn them. Will you join me, my friend? We have arrived in the Forcus system. The Warbird's warp trail ends here. She's out there, somewhere. Initiating sensor sweep now. I've hailed him several times, but he has not answered. Either he is unable to respond, or unwilling to respond. Let us hope he is engaged with the Batleth tournament, and watching over Maven. We will need to beam down to the surface to know for certain, however. Yes, she is dropping into orbit over Forcus 3 and hailing us. It appears Commander Tarson would like a word.
You're becoming an annoyance. You have made yourself a target by defending the House of Martok. By following me here, you've given me no choice but to destroy you.
Scan for energy traces so we can follow him. We must find him! Quickly!
cannot stop what is already set in motion. The Klingon Empire will fall.
Tarson may have beamed himself and his agents to the surface. He also has Klingon traitors aiding his cause. We have more work to do, my friend. Let us beam down and attempt to contact Maven and my father before things get worse.
In the area. Stay
Any
alert.
Romulans here will be well hidden, but their Klingon allies will be able to move freely. Even so, someone might have noticed some unusual behavior. Let's start in the bar. Tongues loosened by blood wine may reveal clues we'd otherwise miss.
Did you see Jim Puck when he was young and still fighting in the tournaments? Oh, now that was something to behold. He was masterful and fluent, not like the young tards here these days. I'm surprised that some of them can hold on to their paddlets for the entire match. Ha! Wonderful! Another stout warrior eager to hear a story of my glory days in battle. Pull up a chair and I'll allow you the honor of buying me a blood wine.
Have you seen the fighter from the House of Duras? He looks like a real contender for champion standing. I'll bet you a barrel of blood wine that he wins without taking a single wound.
General Chang fought the Master Corps, both in their prime fighting condition. Who do you think would take champion standing?
And what do you think of the new rule restricting bat'leth links to between 110 and 120 centimeters?
Do you really think a Romulan would be foolish enough to beam down to an arena filled with hundreds of Klingon warriors? Besides, ever since that one tournament where the champion of the House of Mokai used a transporter to steal his opponent's bat'leth in the middle of a fight, there are transport inhibitors in place. The only places they can operate are the transport pads and cargo storage.
The enemy is devious, moving in disguise. Tactics worthy of House Mokai, but not a true Klingon warrior. If they're posing as cargo haulers, they will have access to the locker rooms where competitors store their gear. They need only wait there for Maven between rounds and strike when he least expects it. Hearing the chanting and sounds of bat'leths reminds me of the first time I celebrated the Cote Baval festival. That was the first time I remember understanding what it means to be—
There is a priority target in the area. Stay alert.
Nuchnech, speak quickly. I have a tournament to run, and little time for fools. Access is limited to maintenance staff and competitors. If you have a security concern, take it up with security. I am, and you will explain your impudence before I show you why I am in charge. The hard way.
There is another way. Is it still possible to enter the tournament?
Not as a competitor, but we do have an opening for an exhibition match. One of the fighters put enough blood wine in his gut to drop the Gone King and had to withdraw. If you wish to take his place, I will allow it. Then combat you shall have. No firearms are allowed. You must use a melee weapon. A bat'leth is preferred, but this is an exhibition, so you may use an unconventional melee weapon if you wish. Even one of those Vulcan lurpas they wave at each other in mating disputes. Ha! Now, an exhibition match.
Enemy targets on sensor. Flanking damage detected.
This concludes the exhibition. Our next match will begin shortly. Ha! You fight well. Work on your form, and you might qualify for next year's tournament. You may use the locker rooms to clean up. Go. Should you have the courage, I will allow you the honor of buying me a blood wine later. Perhaps we will see if you drink as well as you fight.
I said that I would tell you the story of how I came to be called Kempt. Kemtok was the name of a warrior who saved my father from assassins on Moranga Ford. I used the name Kemtar to honor his memory, to remind me of what it means to be Klingon.
What's this? A globfly buzzes into these hallowed chambers? This is a place for competitors, insect! Be gone! The insect buzzes still. I think it is time I stifled it permanently. Last chance, globfly. Leave on your own 2 feet or on the barge to Grethor. Your choice.
Flanking damage detected.
More traitors in league with Tarson. They must be preparing to strike.
Target located. Crimes include sabotage and assassination. Termination authorized.
I have just finished a match. Leave me! I must prepare for the next bout!
You are looking for Maven? He is in another room, further down the hallway.
Maven has fallen to treachery. The House of Martok will have its revenge. He's using the field to weaken our energy weapons. Switch to a melee weapon.
Tor, I need reinforcements.
What is the meaning of this, Alexander? Maven was sent here to replace his equipment, and yet I find you here, surrounded by Romulans with the grandson of Martok dead at your feet. Explain yourself.
Lady Sorella feared that you alone would not be able to keep her grandson safe. We followed these Romulans here, and would have stopped them had these halls not been filled with Klingon traitors. And where were you when these assassins struck?
I see you have been listening to my son's conspiracy theories again. He talks of peace and uniting the houses, yet here he is, with a blade in his hand, looking for glory. I told you I wanted nothing to do with this.
While you were here at the tournament, assassins moved against Lady Sorella at her own estate. If we hadn't tracked down this agent and disarmed his explosive, she would be dead as well. At every step, we have encountered Klingons hiding in the shadows, with blades at our backs.
I have not seen this evidence, but I believe what you say. We will get to the bottom of this. That does not mean we can act rashly. If there were Klingons aiding these agents, then we are still in danger.
Agreed. A great house conspiring with the Tal Shiar to assassinate other Klingons. And it is not just a theory. How high does the corruption go?
Sorella and the rest of the House of Martok will mourn for her grandson. But I must also see that security remains a priority. To start, I am sending you a recruit from our house, the warrior Belera. She's been personally trained by me, and will aid your crew as we fight against the House of Torg.
House Torg. My former jailers were from that house. At least, before we sent them to Grethor on the frozen tundra of Rurapente. You have fought with me this far, my friend. Will you see this through to the end? Help me serve House Torg, a dish colder than the gulag they used to command.
Sorella and the rest of the House of Martok will mourn for her grandson. But I must also see that security remains a priority. To start, I am sending you a recruit from our house, the warrior Belera. She's been personally trained by me. Sorella and the rest of the House of Martok will mourn for her grandson. But I must also see that security remains a priority.
The idea that one of the great houses is conspiring with Romulans to attack House Martok is troublesome. Come to the Kethel Lowlands. Worf and I would be honored if you would participate in Maven's Hecate. Once we have put our family matters to rest, you may work with Worf and Kemtar to determine our plan of attack.